My name is Gary Sparks. I'm information technology faculty here at the college. As far as teaching classes, I teach in all modes, online, hybrid, and face-to-face. I teach operating systems, networking, and security. Actually, I started working in their computer labs in 1996, part-time. And then when a teaching position opened up, on a part-time basis, I taught part-time, and then a full-time position opened up and I applied for that. And as a full-time faculty member, I've been teaching since 1998. I was on active duty in the United States Air Force. 16 years as a security police officer with the United States Air Force. And then when my time came to end there, I transitioned over to the Air National Guard and worked at Metro full-time. So, total of service to the country is about 32 years. My entire career in the military, as a non-commissioned officer, you're training, you're teaching your airmen, getting them prepared for the future. I was very fortunate to be in a unit called the 3906 Special Security Squadron. And that helped get me prepared as far as teaching is concerned. I worked flight for a while, and then I was selected to work in the training section. And at one point I would become what we call the non-commissioned officer in charge, which required me to have specialized training. The military, the Air Force, would call it a T prefix, which I went to school just to learn how to develop curricula, how to deliver the curricula, and the different methods of doing training and educating. In the Air Force, we'd develop training. For example, we'd get a new airman in that's from a different base, and the training would get them orientated to their new job. One of the jobs I had was training the elite guardsmen and to guard the headquarters building at Offutt Air Force Base. So we would get them prepared, get them up to speed, make sure that they were certified on their firearms, as well as the critical systems training that was needed for their nuclear triad systems, and then train them on the building so they knew the facility really well. If an emergency come up, say a medical emergency, they knew exactly where to go and what doors to have available for medical personnel to get in. I'm originally from Middle Tennessee. True, you don't hear Southern drawl. I lost my drawl on my first duty assignment, but I graduated from a small county in Middle Tennessee, and then when I went on active duty, then we were transferred up to Alaska. Completed high school there. The Air Force actually taught me how to study. Originally out of high school, I took a college class, failed miserably because I wasn't really prepared, didn't know what I needed to do to study. So the Air Force taught me how to study, how to take college courses. And then when I got here at Offutt, I finished up 2 associate degrees through the community college of the Air Force. One was instructor of military science and technology, and the other was security administration, security and law enforcement administration. And then I went to Bellevue and completed management information systems at the bachelor's level. And then once I completed that, went back and completed a master's degree in management information systems with a focus in information security. Over the years, I've had a lot of different mentors, whether that was from my military job or jobs, different units. My parents probably were the strongest mentors. Both of them grew up in the rural South. My dad was a farmer and electrician. And then when I went in the military, my first flight sergeants were very good at mentoring people. Everybody in the flight trusted them. They'd say, we need to get this done, and the flight would jump right in and get that done. Probably one of the most recent was Air National Guard. It was the chief I worked for about 16 years. I knew if I asked him a question, I would get an honest answer. There was no wishy-washy. There are times that he would come in and he would tear me apart, basically, because I did something wrong. But I knew if I asked him a question, I could trust his trust his advice, and he is a very good friend to this day. As far as teachers are concerned, there's several of the professors at Bellevue University that were very inspirational. They taught me a lot of things that, at the time I thought, they're being really tough, but now I look back on that and saying they were just getting me prepared. There's an author, his name is John C. Maxwell, and he talks about that mentoring is taking someone with you on the journey. So watching the students and seeing a student that has not been able to succeed because of various circumstances that they've had to deal with, and getting them better prepared by mentoring them, saying, okay, this is what you like, this is what you need to do, and this is the direction you need to go to improve on those areas. And just giving them that support that they need. And it's really interesting seeing those students overcome a lot of those challenges and are able to move forward and succeed. You do the best you can at anything you do. You're going to make mistakes, you're not perfect. So you learn from your mistakes and move forward from that point. That's what I encourage students to do. And said, when you come in, be prepared, and if you make mistakes, and I encourage you to make mistakes. So make mistakes, learn from them, move forward. What keeps me here is getting the students ready. And I've had students, and one student actually come back and she says, I hated everything that you had us do in the class, but then she moved on to another area, and she goes, now I see why you were doing that. Same type thing that I experienced. One of my students taking the networking class, she was programming by degree. And the week that we discussed security, she got excited about that. And she completed her associate degree here, transferred to the University of Nebraska, completed her bachelor's and master's. She now works at US Stratcom as a security analyst for information security. And she sent me a message saying that how appreciative she was of, getting her excited about doing information security, better protecting information systems for not only herself, but the nation. I got them prepared. I got them ready to be able to go out and be effective using technologies and to explore. So many times we'll have someone say, well, you need to teach me the technology. You're a technologist, you're naturally interested, and you're going to go out and you're going to work with the technology and learn about it. And use those thought processes. Well, what if we do this? And get the students to explore that. A lot of students, and I kind of joke with them, said, what's the worst thing that can happen by clicking on that? So it just gets them to say, boy, he did teach us to explore and think about things outside the normal and look at the technology in a little bit different way. I start my classes with what's going on in current events, guys. And it's interesting, a lot of students say, well, I don't like watching the news because there's so much negativity. And I said, you have to keep up with what's going on in the world to stay on top of what you're doing. The different things, the information systems, some of the recent cases that have come to light gives us something to look at and consider. My greatest challenge is just the time to get everything I want to get done completed. And so it keeps me busy. My daughter says I'm a workaholic. She's right. 5 years I will be officially retired. In other words, I'll be able to see money. And hopefully I won't have to teach and work as much. But long-range plans is we like to probably teach less face-to-face, teach a little bit more online, and that way I can teach from a campground someplace and be able to do that. So I can get up in the morning, check the discussion boards, and do some grading, and then step across the street and do some fishing and a few things like that. Enjoy my family that way. I'm Gary Sparks, Information Technologies Instructor, Metropolitan Community College.